Turning back to some local news, a sprinkler malfunction at the Banquet has destroyed $15,000 worth of food. Sioux Falls Fire Rescue responded to fire alarms last Thursday. All staff and volunteers evacuated the building. After re-entering, they discovered a malfunctioning head popped in the walk-in freezer, covering the floor and food in 7 inches of water. All food in the freezer had to be disposed of, and menus are being reworked so that families can still be served. Thousands of dollars of food has been destroyed because of a water leak at the Banquet. A malfunctioning sprinkler head popped off in the walk-in freezer last week. Water was sprayed onto all of the food inside. Today, an estimated $15,000 worth of food had to be thrown out. The South Dakota Department of Health says any food boxes or bags that are not completely sealed must be tossed, but they had to wait for a health department inspection before they could throw it all out. The nonprofit is reworking menus to continue serving those who need meals.
We have so many generous people in our community that have donated to us the meats, the turkeys, hams, those types of things, and so to lose that stuff was a bad deal.
The food bank is working with the health department and the insurance company and hope to recoup some of the loss that they've experienced. The Banquet in downtown Sioux Falls has to replace $15,000 worth of food that was damaged last week. A sprinkler head inside the walk-in freezer malfunctioned and sprayed water everywhere. Throughout the last week, staff has been recording the amount of damage in that freezer. Volunteers started clearing out the food today.
Well, you know, the Banquet in 2018, we served over 200,000 meals. So that frozen food that's in the freezer, those turkeys that we use, those hams, you know, that is very important to a lot of people in our community who rely on the Banquet to have their nutritional needs met.
The Banquet had to rearrange and make some new menu items because of all the food that they lost.
The Banquet in Sioux Falls needs your food donations after a malfunctioning sprinkler spoiled the food in the freezer. Last week, fire alarms went off in the building, forcing everyone to evacuate. When staff went back inside, they noticed a sprinkler head had popped in the walk-in freezer, spraying water onto all the frozen foods. According to the health department, thousands of dollars worth of food is now contaminated.
We could really use help with donations of ham, beef, pork, and roast beef, any kind of meat that we can serve in our meals here at the Banquet.
Shields says staff are still cleaning the freezer, so they can't start taking meat donations until next week.
Folks at the Banquet in Sioux Falls are also in cleanup mode, but not from a storm. A fire sprinkler malfunctioned and ruined roughly $15,000 worth of food. It happened last Thursday when a sprinkler head popped off and doused a walk-in freezer. Damage was limited to the freezer, but it did ruin much needed food like hams and turkeys, which were donated during the holidays. Meanwhile, the staff has since reworked roughly 3 weeks worth of menus, which feed upwards of 600 people a day.
At first, it's really scary, but the staff has come together and they have reworked those menus, and the volunteer groups know, what we have and what we're going to need when they come to serve the meals.
The Banquet is in need of meats like turkey, ham, and hamburger. They'll be able to accept those donations starting next week.